Hey, what's up, guys? We are doing another update on COVID-19 and what the market's doing. My name is Matt Sumption with Remax Equity. We actually did a market update not too long ago, but a lot has happened. A lot of things have been happening with COVID, and I wanted to keep you up to date on the latest information. Today, we have graphs and actual numbers to look at week by week, which I think you'll find really interesting to compare some of the major announcements that have happened here in Utah and throughout the world that are COVID-19 of importance and how that's affected our real estate market here in Utah. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of things going on with the stock market taking such a hit. I think that's created, a lot of doubt or uncertainty to home values. And I hope after you see this, you'll see why it hasn't had that big of an impact. It can, right? But as we speak right now, the data that we're looking at, it's still looking really good. There's a lot of promise here in Utah. And frankly, COVID will just have to make a bigger impact for us to really feel the tightening in our real estate market. There's so much demand. There's so many people that want to live here in Utah. Good on you for living in Utah. I think you'll like these numbers that we look at. So let's dive into it. Okay, so this timeline is what we're looking at week by week, right? So first week of COVID to 18, which is kind of crazy. We're 18 weeks into COVID-19. The second week being January 11th, we had the first death in China, okay? And then week 18, this is when Governor Herbert takes us from high risk to moderate risk, okay? So let's look at what the graphs say. So this graph is showing Utah County sold homes during COVID-19. And you see there's week 1 to week 18. And you have all those announcements in between. So go back to the timeline if you are interested in how these data points are moving. But homes sold. So we look at week 14 was finally when we saw a difference, right? Because we're comparing, if you see here, the blue is 2019 and the red is 2020. So it took 14 weeks until we saw a dramatic difference in the market of sold homes, which, makes sense. It takes about 30 days to close on a home. So it took some time for buyers to either get nervous or back out or decide now's not the time, or you couldn't, frankly, afford a home any longer. Interesting, right? But then after week 17, it shot back up again. So what's going on, right? Did people have a little hiccup and then jump back on the bandwagon, right? This is kind of painting a story of what's happening in our market. Let's look at homes under contract. This I find super insightful. Look, week 1, we're already, 1,300 to 14. Wow. So 172 more homes last year, the same week. And it's been that way all the way through. More homes under contract. Why are more homes under contract during a time of crisis? That's crazy, right? That paints a picture to how much demand is here in Utah. That tells us how bad people want housing. We still have more homes under contract when all this craziness is going on than we did last year with no crisis. Interesting, right? There's a lot of reasons. We can talk more about it, but one of the main indicators is interest rates. If we look at interest rates historically, wow. Like we hit an all-time low in interest rates. I think it was like a month ago, all-time low, and they're still really, really low. That encourages transactions to happen in the marketplace, right? It's really hard for buyers to turn that down when they see interest rates that low and they can still qualify for financing. Look at the gap, right? In between like week 6 and week 12, like that's a big difference from last year. Not just a little, like a big difference, and it kept going up. So definitely good sign of that. If we look at homes withdrawn, this is interesting, right? It was about week 14 when people decided, okay, I'm taking my home off the market. They had their home listed and they said, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. And then homes withdrawn shot up. They took their home off the market. Sellers are probably, they noticed, right? They noticed the difference, either the less buyers walking through, or they didn't want their home to be contaminated potentially with COVID-19. You know, all the above, all the things that people are worrying about right now. There's this spike in homes withdrawn. And then active homes. Take a look at this, right? Red, 2020, the huge dip, right? Huge dip of active homes. People not putting their home, there's not people putting their home on the market right now because of the doubt and uncertainty or the discomfort of people walking through. So if you think of supply and demand, right, the basic economics in real estate, if we have a lot of buyers but not a lot of sellers, that's how we were before COVID hit, right? There was not enough homes. We're at a huge shortage of homes already. There's just not enough subcontractors and homes being built. And then COVID hits, and that takes out some of the buyers, and that takes out a lot of the sellers. We're still experiencing a similar atmosphere, right? Where the buyers just don't have enough options to choose from, right? And we're making generalities here where depending on your price point, you know, it might be a little bit different, right? It might be more of a buyer's market in that $1 million+ range, whereas in the 200,000, it's still smoking hot, just, you know, flying off the shelf. So interesting, right? This is one of the reasons, the demand here is one of the reasons why I feel like we just have so many good things going for us that the fear and the uncertainty, like, I can understand why, right? Especially if you're heavily invested in the stock market, which if you are, maybe now's the time to diversify. Let's get you into some real estate, some rental properties, because investors are sitting pretty happy with their rental properties right now, especially if you're going for a long-term gain. We can talk about that, but it's just interesting to kind of fill this out. So anyways, I hope you found this insightful. Let me know if you have questions, if you have specific properties you want to dive in and look at, and you know, if you're thinking about selling but not sure if now's the right time, or if you're thinking about buying but you know, thinking, well, if I wait a little longer I might be able to find a better deal. Let's talk about your specific situation, because frankly, it doesn't make sense to sit on the sideline if you don't know why, and if you're not using stats to back up why you're sitting on the sidelines. Okay? So lean on me. Let me know if you have any questions. My name is Matt Sumption. I'm with Remax Equity here in Provo, and thanks for watching.